Folasade the Accountability Accountant, and I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode of The Money Zone. If you know that I know, you should have shared that video up with your friend or your family, because our goal is to build generational wealth. So do me one favor, share the video and subscribe to our mailing list by clicking the link below. It's your girl Folasade, the Accountability Accountant, and I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode of The Money Zone. If you know that I know, you should have shared that video up with your friend or your family, because our goal is to build generational wealth. So do me one favor, share the video and subscribe to our mailing list by clicking the link below. Hey guys, welcome to The Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade, the Accountability Accountant, guys. And look, I'm so excited here with you guys. It is so much going on. Like, really be honest, I miss y'all. I miss y'all. I miss y'all. I miss y'all so much. We got a lot to talk about. So on today's show, guys, we're going to talk about how all of the banks fiascos, their collapses, their failures, how does that impact you as a small business owner? And why do I want to talk about this? Because I know I'm over here in fear a little bit, even much knowledge as I'm aware of. So I know you, the everyday Joe, you're on edge as well. You're concerned about what's happening, what to do, where the bank, how to find banks, how to vet banks. You're trying to figure out where we're going with this economy, and just so much going on through your mind. So tonight's show is going to clear up some of the concerns that you had and alleviate some of that fear that you have, so that we can go out and bust our tails every day and build the business and make them coins. Okay. So if you know someone that's a small business owner and have voiced some type of concern about the banking industry, where to bank, what to do, then today's show, guys, is the one that you want to share with them so they can tune in today. So per usual, we're going out a little 2-minute break for me to get myself organized back here. So in the meantime, while I'm on break, take a minute, share the video. If you're watching us on any social media platforms or you're watching us on YouTube, share the video. Or if you're watching us anywhere, share with your friends, share it in a Facebook group, share it, okay? And then the second thing you want to do, grab whatever libation, whatever drink, whatever you're doing, and grab your notepad, and we're going to rock this thing out when I come back. So give me 2 minutes and I'll be right back. Hello, it's your girl Folasade the Accountability Accountant, and I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode of The Money Zone. If you know that I know, you should have shared that video up with your friend or your family, because our goal is to build generational wealth. So do me one favor, share the video and subscribe to our mailing list by clicking the link. Hey guys, welcome back to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade the Accountability Accountant, guys. And on today's show, like I said in our intro, guys, we're talking about what you need to do as a small business owner about this banking situation, because I'm a little bit in fear. So I know you guys are a little bit in fear as to what you guys need to be doing right now. So guys, if you want to see my screen, head over to Beltway Radio's YouTube page or Beltway Radio's Facebook page, because throughout today's show, I am going to show you guys quite a bit of resources that you guys don't want to miss out on, and I will be sharing my screen. So head over to Beltway Radio and check me out live so you can see my screen. And don't forget, after the show, within about 48 hours, it will be posted to my YouTube channel, Folasade TV. So head over there too and subscribe. Okay, thing went out, guys. So first things first, I know you guys have heard about the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, right? They failed. However, many of you don't know that a lot of banks, there's about maybe 186 banks presently on the verge of also closing. And I'm not an economics major, so I'm not as well knowledgeable in economics. However, I know a little something, right? So we're going to talk about the little bit that I know about, okay? So first things first, guys, we need to first ask ourselves some questions. Like, because many of you, what I notice when it comes down to who you decide to bank with, you go and ask your friends, you say, oh, so yeah, you bank with such and such. How's your experience? I've never really heard anyone say that they actually went out to the public on the World Wide Web and really Googled and learned about the bank that they're banking with. Okay. So, like a lot of people that have invested into Silicon Valley Bank, let's be honest, some of them are claiming that they didn't know that they invest highly into startups, blase, blase, blase. They're saying that they didn't know. So, the first thing, guys, that you all want to do, especially right now in this banking collapse, slight recession, the recession that we're in, right? You guys want to start reviewing the banks that you have your money sitting in. You want to not only review them, but you want to start asking questions. You want to ask them about their money. You want to start reviewing their financial statement. You want to know about the banks that you're operating with. And here's why. You guys, well, number one, let me be honest. Every bank posts their financial statements on their websites, okay? to do, guys, I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to go to Truist. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. So once again, guys, as I said, if you want to see my screen, head over to Beltway Radio on their YouTube page or head over to their Facebook page. Okay. So right now, if you're watching us on any of the other platforms, you can see that I have the Truist Bank. So this is one of the banks that I bank with, right? Okay. So if you guys scroll down for almost every bank, go all the way at the bottom. They have mostly all of the resources that you would need. So what you guys to do is put your investor hat on before you start to put your investments into these banks. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is scroll down on a site and you want to first just start off and find out about the bank. Find out about the bank. When were they established? Why were they established? What is the core values of the company? Okay, so right now we're on Truist site and it says, what drives us? At Truist, our purpose is to inspire and build better lives and communities. That happens through real care to make things better, to meet client needs, to empower teammates, and to lift up communities. That's what they say, what drives them. Okay. They say their kids starts with culture. Just a lot of honestly, guys, what I realized when reviewing these banks' core values and their about us page and stuff, it was a lot of word uh spaghetti, right? It was just fancy words, right? So you want to go first find out about the company, about us, and go core values and things like that. And the reason you guys want to do that, and I just stopped sharing, is because you want to see if values align with yours. So some banks have an aggressive plan when it comes down to investing. Some banks have a non-aggressive plan. Some banks invest in just some type of bond. Some banks. So guys, you really need to know what your bank is investing in, because if they're investing into risky products, that means your money sitting in the bank is risky, and that's exactly what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. They were invested into risky products. Okay, very, very risky products. So the first thing that you guys want to do is become familiar with your bank, their core values, their purpose, why they're in business, what are their goals. Okay, thing that you guys do is make sure that your bank is federally insured. So once again, I'm going to share my screen, guys, because a lot of you probably did not even know that this site existed. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Okay. It's called Bank Find Suite. Okay. So if you go here, you're able to pull up and research every bank to see whether or not they're federally insured, to find out, to review their financials, find out about their history, their file, how many locations, everything. And so since Truist is our demo, um our avatar for today, right? I'm on their site and it shows that they're federally insured, okay? And the bank was established in 1872. 1872? Okay. Then it also says that they have 2,123 domestic locations, 18 states, and 0 territories, and they have 0 in foreign locations. Okay, so that's basically saying quite a bit about the company. When did they start? They started in the 1800s, back when slavery still existed, right? So yeah, how did this company originate? Guys want to know those things because it really shows you the mindset of that bank. It also lets you know like what they would invest in, what goals and things like that, and that's very important for all of us because you need to know what the hell your bank is doing. Okay, so let me kind of go here a bit because I think a lot of people have been confused about how banks make money. So let me just be very clear to all of you how your bank makes money. Your bank makes money simply by when you deposit your money into your account with them, right? They now take your money and they lend it. So the difference, which is called the spread, the difference between the money that you put in the bank and the money that they lend, okay, and the entrance and things that they're going to receive is called a spread. So they're going to make their money off the entrance off of it. And so with that being said, if a bank issue bad loans, a large amount of bad loans or bad mortgages or bad products, guess what? The bank lose money. So that's another thing that happened with Silicon Valley Bank. Okay. They also had bad investments. They had people that they were investing in, businesses that they were investing in, businesses that they were investing in that they wasn't getting a return from. So if your bank invested billions of dollars in other businesses, okay, and they only have $3 billion on the books and they were anticipating revenue, then what happens? They are losing. So first of all, your bank only make money off the entrance. And so personally, I believe that that should be changed. The banks need to figure out ways to make money outside of lending our hard-earned money. Okay. So one question that I was getting is, what is the difference between smaller banks like Fulton Bank and Bank of America and Truist? So the main difference is the fact that each bank has different products. If you were to go to the Fulton Bank, right, you will see they have the basic line of credit. They may have one credit card option. They may not have a lot of lending opportunities there. But if you were to go to Bank of America website, you will see 8 different credit card options. Same thing like Capital One and Truist, 8 different credit card options, 4 different type of bank accounts, 5 different mortgage products, and all of the different products. And one of the distinct differences, and I know a lot of you are trying to decide on money at, that's why we're having this conversation today, is that so you guys can come from today's show and go and invest or put your money into the right bank that fits you, okay? So most banks have certain products, and the smaller the bank, the less products they have, the less lending opportunities, the less funding opportunities that they have. The bigger the bank, the bigger the products. So this is why I always tell my clients to diversify. You don't want to put all your money into a little bank because their lending options are smaller and their products are, they have a smaller suite of products. You want to diversify. So what is the best way to do this? Is to bank with different sectors of the banking industry. So you have the credit unions, and then you have your big banks, and then you have your smaller banks. So the big banks are like Bank of America, Truist, and Capital One. So a lot of people invest and put their money in those banks because they feel as though that those banks are too big to fail, that the government will save them. Okay. However, we ain't sure at the rate that we're going if any bank is too big to be to fail, because there's so much happening right now, honestly. Then the smaller banks, you guys are a bit concerned about them, but they also have that same protection. If your bank is federally insured, that's why I showed you guys that site, because that site allows you to see each bank that's federally insured. If your bank is federally insured and you have $250,000 or less in your bank if you're single, or $500,000 or less in the bank if it's a joint bank account, right? Then that money will be recovered, okay, and given back to you, or the government will be responsible to go through the bankruptcy and give the funds to you. So anything under $250,000 per account for single individuals or single account holders, and $500,000 for joint account holders is protected. Now, anything above that $250,000 or anything above that $500,000 is not protected. So I had seen on Instagram, I cannot pronounce the basketball player's name, but he basically said that he had um $250,000 in about 10 to 12 different banks, right? And his investment friends was like, oh, well, that's not the way you do things and this. I'm going to be honest with you guys. For the very rich, very successful people, that's not really the way that they do things. For all of us little millionaires, thousandaires, right? I would say only keep up to $250,000 in these banks. Like literally, because the market is so crazy right now. If you were to give your all of your hard-earned money to a financial advisor to sock it away in another investment, we don't know the safety behind that investment. We don't know the certainty or any type of guarantee with that investment. So I personally would recommend you guys do split your money out. I know some people are going to look at this video and say, she don't know what she's talking about and this, and this. I would rather for you guys to be safe than sorry. Safe than sorry. So if you have more than $250,000, move some of that money over to another bank, okay? So that can also be insured or invested. But right now, there's so much going on. You got to be very careful about the investments. Okay. So that's the difference between the smaller banks and the big banks, the different products. But most of the banks are federally insured, most, not all. But check out that site that I shared on my screen for you guys to check to see not the bank that you're banking with is federally insured. That a lot of people probably never considered when banking with someone else. I've noticed you guys only choose the banks based on the opportunities to get funding from them. But really, you should look at their core values. And I talked about that a little bit. But the core values allow you to see um, what is important to that bank. Is it helping the Black community? Is it helping the poor? Is it investing in small businesses? What is the core value of your bank? Is it helping small communities? What is it? And if you are aligned with that core value, then that should be the bank that you work with. Okay. All right. How does the bank support small businesses? Is the next thing that you guys want to ask yourself. How does this bank support small businesses? Are they giving out funding? Are they doing community events? Are they partnering with the small businesses? I'm going to be honest with you guys. You know how they say transparency is key? Most banks that are really out in the community and transparent and open, have like an open door policy, they tend to not hide as much. That's why I think the bigger banks are just rolling, because they tend to do initiatives in the community. And then also what I noticed when I was reviewing Truist is that a lot of these big banks are just bought banks. So banks are really a business, guys. And the way that we bank now will definitely change in the future. So be prepared for massive changes happening with the banking industry, because right now, based off the financial statements of the banks that I've reviewed, the banking industry is extremely volatile, and a crash is close to happening because a lot of these banks' asset amounts are low. A lot of these banks do not have a lot of capital on hand. And so now that goes to the question that I have to ask you. Do you have capital on hand to sustain if you're unable to get a loan? Because right now, during this banking crunch, what's going to happen is the opportunity to lend out money is going to be minimum to none. They're going to end up trying to they might even recall some mortgages. They might even recall some loans. Like, guys, this is the time really to go and look at your loan documents to see whether or not they can recall your mortgage, if they can recall your loan, because we just don't know. It's just too much uncertainty. So if I were you right now and I had money scattered all over the place, or had millions of dollars in one bank account, I don't care what anybody say, rich or poor, I would separate that money out. I would definitely separate it out. If it's above 250,000 for single account, move it out. Okay. If you're considering investing, be mindful of this. If you cannot explain it, or if you don't understand it, I don't advise you to invest in it. Okay. Because you need to know what you're putting your money into and how you get a return. Many of you invested into crypto. and didn't know what you were doing, and you sustained massive losses. Okay. And not saying that crypto, you shouldn't invest, no investment advice. I'm just telling you guys to just be very leery of what you invest. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not investing into nothing right now. I'm just holding and just right now. I'm saving and working and building my pot. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not shopping. I even told the kids that I may not even be going on vacation this summer, simply because it's too much uncertainty. Okay, financially. If my bank closed, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay my staff? Like, guys, we really need to accept the reality that we're in and understand that there's so much uncertainty, and we have to control what we can control. And that's controlling the amount of money we have in our bank accounts. That's controlling the bank that we work with. And that's also understanding how your bank make money and what their core values are. And then last but not least, making sure that your bank is federally insured. And the reason why I keep saying that is because a lot of these banks are using other people's licensing. So if you guys scroll down to most of these sites, it'll say FDIC insured through, and it will have the other bank's name. So just be very careful, guys, when it comes down to who you bank with. I personally say diversify, because the big bank is no safer than a small bank, and a credit union is no safer than none of the two. So if I were you, I would debut in all three: big banks, credit union, and your neighborhood community banks. Because the more spread out, it actually balances out the system as well. Okay. So that's basically it for topic 2. We're about to go, and I'm about to take a quick little break. But what we're going to talk about in segment 2 is your boy Donald Trump. Well, my boy Donald Trump, y'all might say. He and all y'all are about to go down with Donald Trump. Y'all going down with Donald Trump. So, guys, we about to talk about Donald Trump in segment 2. I got some juice for you guys about his situation that actually a lot of you are actually doing. So, guys, tune in. I'm going to take a quick little break, and I'll be right back. And I'm going to start this Instagram over because it's a different topic. So I'm going to start the Instagram. But the radio show, give me about 3 minutes, and we'll be right back.
I didn't realize how much help that I needed when I started my business. Like, I knew I couldn't do it by myself, but I didn't know to the extent of how much help I would need. So this is why your accounting is so important, because it's the difference between you being a one-man band for the rest of your life and you being able to hire your next right-hand man. And see, so for example, like me, I'm a service provider. So if I hire another individual in my office, the next thing would be someone that has a CPA or an enrolled agent, someone with the credentials of my caliber, right? So I can now officially somewhat delegate everything to them, right? And so it costs to hire an accountant. It costs. I'm gonna have to pay them no less than maybe 70 G's. So while all of you entrepreneurs thinking that it's so easy to really grow your business, now I already have $100,000 in payroll already. So when I add on another 70, so that's now taking my total payroll to $250,000. And so while you small businesses think that it's a game to level up and grow your businesses, when it's time for you to sacrifice that 70,000 to pay somebody, you're not willing to do so. So you stay where you are.
what it is that we want. If you don't like yourself, if you don't think you're cute enough, or if you don't have enough money, what could we do to change it? Nobody right now, will we on this day and time should be hating on nobody or should be judged. All of us have the same 24 hours. All of us have the same opportunities. Now, the moment that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube start charging us to use their platform is the moment that we all can say we have the same opportunity. But right now, we all have the same opportunity. So what is stopping you from doing what you need to do and hustle? What's stopping y'all? First of all, stop watching everybody. So when you are not where you want to be in life, guys, is a difference between watching people to get motivation and watching people and start to develop hate. Because you guys can watch so much to the point where you forget that for you to get to their level, you have to do work. So you begin to hate. You begin to hate. So what is it? What do we need to do? And I think the first thing we all need to do is accept accountability. Accept accountability for where you are right now. If you're not happy, write down why. If you're not financially stable, write down why. So like me, I had to do an evaluation of myself. I said, okay, I'm pretty consistent, pretty disciplined, but not as bad as consistent and disciplined as I could be. So guess what I did? Okay, be more consistent, be more disciplined. Hey guys, welcome back to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade the Accountability Accountant, guys, and I'm pumped to be back with you guys for this. I got 4 fingers up. Number 2, guys. So in the first segment of today's show, we talked about how the banking system, what you guys need to look to when you're trying to do when you're trying to choose the bank that you want to save your money at. Look at their core values. I also gave you guys a site to go to find out whether or not your bank is federally insured. I also gave you guys some suggestions as to splitting your money in banks. If you have any fear about that, then you want to go back to the replay, which will be on my YouTube channel at Folasade TV. But guys, I'm past that one now. We on my boy Donald Trump, guys. So right now, many of you guys have been seeing in the news that Donald Trump has been indicted. He's been indicted on 34 charges of, hold on, let me make sure, 34 counts, 34 felony counts of falsifying bank records related to the alleged, affair that he had with Stormy Daniels. He paid her some hush money. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Now, why, after I read into this, I realized that Donald Trump situation is similar to what a lot of you guys do, and that what he did was he committed bookkeeping fraud. Donald Trump committed bookkeeping fraud. So what he attempted to try to do, see, guys, it's not illegal to pay somebody to keep their mouth closed. It's not illegal to have somebody sign an NDA and for them to stay in compliance with the NDA, right? Then you pay them. That's not illegal. Illegal. What was illegal was him attempting to deduct on his taxes and also within his business financial statements those payments to Stormy Daniels. So here's the thing, guys. See, many of you didn't even realize that there's such a thing called bookkeeping fraud. All they do is call it falsifying financial records. How many of you operate that business and you heard me say that that is not a tax write-off, or I told you that you cannot do that in your business, but you still decide to deduct that on your taxes? You committed a fraud just like Donald Trump because you didn't falsify banking records. So Donald Trump didn't do nothing no different than many of y'all small business out here, and he tried to make an expense a write-off. He tried to make a payment that wasn't supposed to be paid. Well, you could pay it, and a write financial statements. So think about it. How many of you small business owners don't do your bookkeeping? You're committing fraud, because once your numbers are not right and you put that stuff on a tax return, that means you falsified financial records. So Donald Trump is in trouble for falsifying bookkeeping. And a lot of you guys is not important. Oh, I need to have my numbers in order. I don't need to reconcile my accounts. I don't need to do this. I don't need no accountant. Look at Trump. And I bet you his accountants told him, Trump, we can't write this off. We cannot claim this as an expense. It is a non-deductible expense. But so many people get so greedy, not trying to pay taxes. So many people get greedy, trying to act like they're beating the government. And guess what? I have a feeling he forced them people to put that payment to Stormy Daniels on his financial statements. And so why is that important? Let's use simple numbers. Let's say Donald Trump made $100,000. Okay? If he don't claim any expenses, if he don't claim nothing, right, then Donald Trump will owe about $19,000 in, let's say $24,000 in federal tax. Let me just round it, $25,000 in federal taxes, right? Now, let's say, for example, Donald Trump paid Stormy $25,000 for hush money. Hush money, guys, you cannot write it off on your taxes. So guess what? Since he falsified business records and tried to include that into it, I know he did, okay, right? Then that means $1,000 is no longer $100,000 for tax purposes. It's now $70,000. So that means he will no longer owe the $25,000 in taxes. Trump will only owe about $15,000 in taxes. So writing off those expenses like hush money and those expenses that you guys are not able to claim on your taxes actually benefit you guys. And that ends up being falsifying financial records, falsifying tax documents, bookkeeping fraud, and everything else. So while y'all might think Trump's situation don't impact you and oh, he's rich, oh, that's what he get. Many of you are doing exactly the same thing that he did. The only difference is yours isn't hush money. Yours is that expense that I told you that you couldn't claim. Yours is the personal expenses that you commingled with your business and you're trying to deduct. Yours is the one that you're trying to make everything a tax write-off, and it's not. So many of you are in the same boat that Donald Trump in, and they falsify bank records, falsify financial records. So let me read y'all this article really quick. Oh my God. Donald Trump has never been an understated man. His motto in life always seemed to have been, why just do something when you can overdo it? So it's fitting that just as Trump has launched his third run for president, he is also now posed the first former president to be indicted at least once and possibly twice. The first set of charges could come from Alvin Bragg, the district attorney in Manhattan who took over the years-long investigation into a $130,000 payment from Trump's then lawyer, Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen Stormy Daniels. Oh, sorry, hold on, y'all. I never read. Look, I'm trying to look at y'all at the same time. Okay, the investigation into the $100,000 payment from Trump's then lawyer Michael Cohen to an alleged former mistress Stormy Daniels. It was hush money scheme. Cohen has since said designed to keep Daniels quiet. Ahead of Trump's 2016 run for presidency, the technical offense, according to New York law, is bookkeeping fraud. It says, according to the New York law, it is considered bookkeeping fraud. Doctoring business documents is a serious offense. It hardly seems to be the kind of violation that will cause a former president to be led away in handcuffs. Bragg is reportedly considering adding a federal campaign finance violation to the bookkeeping piece, which will bump the potential charge misdemeanor to a felony. The applause line for the Trump 2024 rally practically writes itself. Can you believe it? Bookkeeping fraud. It's the most disgusting witch hunt in the history of our country. So my question to you guys, when are we going to start taking our finances serious, guys? Trump, all he had to do was not try to keep it on the business books, not try to understate the business income with the 100 and something 30,000. See, because I guarantee you what he did. He claimed it as a payment to his attorney, Michael Cohen, because he had to reimburse Michael for the money. So when he reimbursed it, I guarantee you he expensed it as attorney fees. So how many of you try to pay somebody something or try to spend something somewhere and then, yeah. That's a business expense. That's a business expense. The only difference is that Donald Trump is running for and you're not. But if you putting down numbers such as your income, such as your business expenses on a financial document, and it is not correct, you're doing exactly what Trump did, and that's falsified financial records. So now we're here, guys. Bookkeeping fraud. Donald Trump situation that brought to light that people now are misleading financial institutions because they're manipulating their financial statements. And I see this in my industry all the time, even from mortgage brokers. They will say, oh, is there anything that you can do to get their income higher? Oh, I got a loss for today. I'm not going to be able to buy no property. Guys, you have to accept your financial situation for what it truly is. Do not go out there and falsify things. If you paying somebody hush money, you cannot write it off. If you're doing something illegal, that expense you cannot take expenses to that income. If you get penalized, if you're paying for fines, and this is a tip for all of you guys, because some of you don't understand the importance of bookkeeping, and it's crazy to me that you operate in these businesses and not understanding the importance of bookkeeping. But let's say, for example, you overdraft your bank account, right? Y'all probably didn't notice, so you might want to write this down because this is that I'm giving you guys. If you guys overdraft your bank account, you cannot write off insufficient funds, fees, taxes. If you pay for tickets, late fees, and penalties, you cannot write that off on your taxes. If you pay hush money like Donald Trump did, you cannot write that off on your taxes. It should be on your financial statement somewhere that says non-deductible expenses. But you guys don't want to do bookkeeping. You guys don't want to do nothing right. And this is multi-tiered because, see, the issue is this. See, it's a difference. It's no difference between Trump falsifying information and you guys not having it right. Because y'all probably think, oh, this don't pertain to me, Folasade. I don't do no book. I just go through my bank statements and calculate everything and total up everything. Oh, this don't pertain to me. Yes, it does. Because if that calculation is wrong and you put it on your taxes, you falsify tax records. If that calculation was wrong and you applied for a loan, then you falsify financial records. If you applied for a car loan and you gave them the wrong income, you falsified financial records. So stop looking at Donald Trump like, oh, he a scammer, he a thug. Because that's what I'm saying, y'all. Y'all say, oh, he a thug, man. Thug life. You know, that's what y'all doing now. When the reality is, you guys are probably doing the same thing, but on a smaller scale and not in the public eye. So why am I having this discussion with you guys about this today? Because for years I've been telling you that there's a major correlation between everything you do in your business, all the money that you make in your business, and your expenses and your lifestyle. If your life $150,000 a year and you are only reporting income of $100, your ass is going to get caught up. They're going to find out. You know that you can't afford certain things and you getting loans and falsifying loan applications, you just as bad as Trump. And so it's so interestingly how this is being exposed when a lot of you guys have done funding fraud. Funding fraud. Y'all putting y'all the wrong income on those bank applications. And so you're in the same situation as Trump, falsifying financial records, falsifying bank applications, wire fraud, bank fraud, tax fraud. It's all a fraud. So if you think that this doesn't pertain to you guys, you have a very, very rude awakening, because it showed the IRS that Trump will try to falsify records. So the average American will also try to falsify records. And with the high scrutiny, the increased audits, the increased tax notices, guys, stop trying to claim everything as a write-off. It's not flying no more. Oh boy, Trump probably mad now that 130 that probably only would have saved them 20,000 taxes, right? Now may end up becoming president again, and he might end up being locked up. So how many of you are making decisions with your finances, falsifying bank applications, not doing your bookkeeping, trying to convince tax fraudulently put things on the taxes? See, the IRS never catch you guys right now. They're going to catch you guys when you be figure. They're going to just like a few of these Maryland delegates and stuff. Was it Kwame Brown or something got caught up for bank fraud? It's the moment you guys make it big, it's the moment that the house start crumbling. So do things right. It is now bookkeeping fraud is considered falsifying financial records. So they didn't expose it and connected the dots. So how many of you are not doing bookkeeping? Number one. So that means if you're not doing bookkeeping, then how are you keeping up with your financial records? How do you know if the numbers that you're claiming is correct? Number two, if you're not doing bookkeeping and it's not accurate, how do you know that what you submitted on that recent application to get that loan was correct? The income that you reported, did you overstate that income? Because that's what I'm hearing online. They're telling y'all to increase your income on these Navy federal applications, and they're telling y'all to increase your income on all these bank loan applications. So all of y'all are doing exactly what Trump is doing and Trump did, and that's falsified business records. And why is that a problem? One reason why that is a problem is because they use those financial records to get funding. The moment you use intentional inaccurate financial data, you committed fraud. Problem number one. Problem number two, if he used that as a deductible expense as attorney fees, then that means he committed tax fraud as well, because he claimed an expense that was not deductible. The third issue he did, if he if he used that same income information or that same financial data that was incorrect and then received the loan, the moment the loan money left the bank and was direct deposited into his bank account, is wire fraud. If he had to mail in anything to get the loan, like his deed, or had to mail in a signed copy of something, then it's considered mail fraud. So you guys falsifying your financial records open up so many avenues for fraud that I need you guys to have sleepless nights because you wanted to get a $30,000 loan. It's not that serious. They're finding every angle and every way to get people caught up. And they always use somebody as an example. And Trump is the first example of people falsifying financial records and the impact that it have. And it's also considered a felony. And depending on what he applied for with those numbers, right? He might have to pay some restitution if he got the loans. He may have to, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay? Hold on. It says, but the larger question for Bragg, for Willis, and for the country is whether the spectacle of charging a former president with a crime and then bringing that case to trial will strengthen the country or weaken it. I think it's going to weaken it. Okay? Basically, here we go. Donald Trump committed financial falsifying business records, and it started with his bookkeeping. So remember, everything you guys do in the dark comes out in the light. So every person that think that you could just throw and deduct anything and claim it as a business, this is an example. You're falsifying business records. So guys, that's kind of what I got for you guys today. Let's not falsify financial records to get loans and to get funding, and the list of his go on and on and on. And guys, once they find that you've done some type of fraud, it opens up for them to look into past years. And also for the IRS, and it gives them the opportunity to look into your tax returns for the next 5 years. So is trying to save money on your taxes and trying to get everything a write-off really worth possibly being indicted for falsifying business records because you tried to do a Trump thing and claim expenses that wasn't a tax deduction? There's no difference. So y'all think Trump is rich and he is a big amount of money? $130,000 is small money, y'all. That's small money for the millions that he's dealing with. So if they're going to use this as the basis, then that means all of the small people out here that done them scams and falsifying bank records to get loans and things like that, y'all next. Y'all next. Y'all are next. And I'm not saying that to fear you. I'm telling you this because I've been asking you guys not to stop. Stop trying to claim everything as a write-off. There's a difference. And I'm going to say this before I close out. Remember, I keep telling you guys that accounting is very broad. There's financial accounting, which is your bookkeeping. There's tax accounting, which is your taxes. There's payroll accounting that's related to your payroll. You getting paid. Okay. There's management accounting. That's the tools the accountants use to manage firms.